Hey, this is Sun Young, and I'm half amazing. And I am like way behind on my schedule right now because I'm just figuring out how to do finals in Korea. I wanted to film this video because, first of all, it's something that I've been wanting to talk about for a long time, and second of all, because I don't have time to hardcore edit something. I'm gonna switch gears and talk about something a little more serious. We are going to talk about social anxiety today. Whoa! This is my own personal experience. It is not everyone's experience, it is not your experience, and just keep that in mind. So why do I want to talk about mental health on my channel? It's a very important issue to me, and I think that it's often overlooked in our society, and people still have, even in America, in Korea, everywhere, people still have preconceived ideas about certain aspects of mental health and are a little bit afraid of it and don't quite know what things mean, or am I going crazy, is this okay? And so I want to be able to be open with the people that are watching my channel. Of course, it's something I care about personally, but also I want to be able to help other people, and I hope in the future that I can, and I hope this video even can help a little bit. I've been seeing a lot of social anxiety related videos pop up on the internet, and I thought I would chime in and give my own 2 cents on the issue. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of background about myself. I was not born with social anxiety. I was actually one of those really crazy outgoing kids, like obnoxiously outgoing. Like I would talk to everyone, and my mom had to put like a leash on me when I was a kid, but that didn't work out, so then she stopped doing it. Yeah, I was one of the leash kids. I love talking to people. I love being the center of attention. Anywhere where large crowds of people can all focus on just me, that was my thing. My mom used to tell me a lot, like when I was young, stories about when I was young, and she'd take me to the grocery store. When she was checking out at the grocery store, I realized that there were lots of people around me, and you know what that means? That means it's time to perform. And I just started belting out the song "Jesus Loves Me" in the middle of the store, and so everybody turned to look at me, and then when I was done, they all clapped. That's the kind of kid that I was. But then around like 5th grade or so, my confidence started to plummet, and I started to become less outgoing, and it just got progressively worse throughout middle school. Why this happened, I couldn't tell you exactly why. There were probably a number of factors involved. It could have been my school environment, it could have been racism, it could have been discrimination, it could have been all the changes I was going through. I was switching schools. As you all know, I'm half Korean and not full Korean, but I don't look like, especially when I don't know about now, but especially when I was young, I looked really Korean. I was picked on sometimes, and I was asked some strange questions, and I never quite felt like I fit right in, and I didn't like the way that I looked. I always wished like my hair would magically turn blonde and I get blue eyes like everybody else. Also, my school was really small, and so the amount of people that I could find to fit in with were so few that, if you didn't fit in with anyone, then you were out, basically. And that's how I felt. I felt out. I think also another issue is that at the time I had just been diagnosed with ADHD, which can have an effect on your friend groups, especially if you're jumping off the walls all the time. At the time I was not diagnosed with social anxiety, but I knew something was wrong. Like throughout my life, I've loved acting and singing and dancing in front of people. And around middle school, that just completely stopped. And I remember signing up to audition for a play once in middle school. I wrote my name on the paper and everything, and I was really excited. And then at the last minute, I just decided not to go because I was afraid. Like, I think I noticed around that, okay, something's wrong. I used to do this all the time. I had no issues, and now I'm too afraid to go. 2 years ago, I took a test. I finally got tested for it was just a general, I'm not really sure what test it was, but it was like a psychology test, I think, and they did confirm, yep, you have social anxiety, but it's a mild social anxiety. It's not severe. I think it used to be kind of severe, but I think as I got through college, it got a little bit better. It made me think that in every social situation that people were inevitably going to react negatively to me, because that's what I was used to. And it also taught me to be negative towards myself, which is unfortunate. So let's talk about social anxiety. What is social anxiety? And this is just not like your run-of-the-mill, like, oh, I'm scared of spiders. They make me scream when I see them. It's not like that. Don't call me an expert because I'm definitely not. I'm not a psychologist. I haven't actually studied. I took like one class on psychology. From what I know personally, it seems like most mental health problems or issues or whatever are things that make your life, living your life, much harder than it needs to be, I guess, is the best way to put it. Like arachnophobia. People who are really scared of spiders and they're like completely clean out their house like every day because they're so scared of spiders. That is the kind of fear that I'm talking about. Social anxiety, if you look it up, it says it's the fear of social situations. That's kind of a broad definition, so I'm just going to personally tell you the situations that I don't like to go through in my daily life that are so frightening. Number 1, meeting new people. Of course, I mean, when you meet someone for the first time, everyone's a little nervous, right? Like, I gotta make a good first impression. Also, when I have to be in a group of people where I don't know anyone, I feel so bad, which is kind of what I went through when I first came here to Korea. All my classes, I had no friends, nobody living near me, and I was just actually so stressed out by the fact that I have no friends or that I don't know anyone that I would go home and cry after class because I felt like no one wants to talk to me, no one likes me, no one thinks I'm worth their time, no one even said hi to me, no one looked at me, this kind of stuff. Second one, presentations are of the devil. Number 3, performing any kind of skill in front of anyone. Now, I've gotten better. I used to not be able to do this in front of anybody, but now I play the guitar just for fun as a hobby. I can do it in front of people that barely play the guitar. But things like when I first came to Korea in Suwon and I had to do mock teaching in front of other teachers, that scared me half to death because they know what they're doing and I don't know what I'm doing. And so basically I'm performing their skill for them in front of them like I know what I'm talking about when I obviously don't. Number 4, daily conversations. 5, just walking down the street. Every move I make, every step I take, I feel like people are watching me. Oh man, I can't believe I just said that. I feel like everyone is watching me and that I have to act perfect. I have to walk perfectly. I can't trip over anything. I can't have a weird facial expression. I can't be doing weird things with my hands. Is there a bug in my room? And so maybe some of you at this point are thinking, is this narcissism? Does she think she's so great that everyone is looking at her? That is for sure not it. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Personally, I have such low self-esteem and a low opinion of myself that I feel like everyone else also has a really low opinion of me. Number 6, entering a building. Number 7, interviews. Number 8, making phone calls. Even if it's not face-to-face conversation, but I have to talk with someone on the phone, that is so stressful. And it's the worst because this whole time, like I've had to call a lot of people to be able to come to Korea, to get a visa, to figure out my dad's adoption things. I have to like prep myself. I have to like do the pep talk before I make any kind of a phone call because it's just so scary. Number 9, ordering at a cafe or a restaurant, and especially in a foreign country where I don't know the language. They're gonna be like, why does she talk like that? And this was actually a really big issue when I first moved here in February because I actually dropped about 5 kilograms in 2 weeks. And the reason is because, firstly, of course, I'm starting off my life in a new country. I don't have cooking tools or anything. So if you don't have cooking tools and you don't have food, you can go out, right? But I can't go out. I saw Taco Bell and McDonald's and Korean restaurants that I really wanted to try. And I would just walk around them and I would see them and I'd be like, I want to go in there and I want to eat. But then I'd be like, no, I'm not ready. I'm not ready for this. So I'd make like another loop around the block and I'd pass it again. I'm like, okay, I'm ready. No, I'm not. And I'd make another loop. And by this time I'm thinking, if I've already passed the same people before, they're going to be like, why is this girl walking in circles? So then I just went home. I didn't eat because I was too afraid to simply walk into a building and order something. Number 10, picking out clothes to wear. If I'm not wearing just the right thing for just the right occasion, I feel like people are going to judge me. Like, I really like clothes, and I really like unique clothes and fashion. I have some cool stuff, but I'm scared to wear it because I feel like people are going to be, it draws a lot of attention to myself, and people are going to be looking at me and thinking, why she put those things together? Number 11, answering questions in class. Or saying anything in class, for that matter. Even if I know I'm 100% right, I will not say anything. Even in high school, when they ask, when they pick on you and they're like, okay, you start first and we're going to read a paragraph, like, I would count the kids before me. I'd find my paragraph and I would just read it over and over again in my head. I wouldn't focus on any of the other paragraphs, just so I wouldn't make a mistake. And even now, like in grad school, I have a class that requires me. Part of my points is to like speak in class. We do like little mini discussions and I can't say anything, and so I'm probably gonna lose like stupid points in my class because I'm too afraid. I really just physically cannot bring myself to raise my hand and say something. Number 12. Approaching people. Number 13, asking questions. Number 14, any kind of imperfection at all. I feel like if I don't do things perfectly, people will not like me. People will judge me. People will hate me. And so I have this extra weird pressure on myself to constantly be perfect. And it's not fun. So what is social anxiety like? What's it like to have social anxiety? I've heard people tell me before, like, don't be so afraid then. Don't let fear rule your life. Don't think that. It's not as easy as that. It's not as easy as just poof. So I want you to take some time and think about the thing that you're most afraid of. For example, there's a lot of people who are afraid of thunderstorms, or loud noises, or clowns, or heights. Imagine yourself experiencing it right now. I'm going to use heights as an example just because I know a lot of people who are very, very afraid of heights. So just imagine you're standing on the roof of a tall building or a mountain, right? You're standing there and the wind's blowing in your hair. When you look down, you see whatever, valleys and rivers and trees below you, or you see a city and people walking down, and it's just from you to there, if you fall, if you misstep, you are gonna die. Like, imagine being face to face with the thing that you're afraid of, or being in that thing, or being really close to that thing, right? Touching a spider, or having a balloon like being rubbed against. Some people are afraid of balloons. Now, obviously, you can avoid these things, right? You don't have to say hey to clowns every day. You don't have to climb up to a high place and look down every day. As a person whose worst fear is other people, I have to face it all the time. That feeling that you felt when you imagined your worst fear, I feel it every day, every hour that I am outside. Using heights as an example again. Like, imagine that you're forced every single day to go to the top of a very tall building or a very tall mountain, sit on the edge of something and dangle your legs over it, or even just lean over it, or hold your phone out. Oh, I hate doing that. Like, you not only have to face your fear every day, but you have to conquer it sometimes. You have no choice. That's what it feels like. And so for people to say, just get over it, people aren't that scary, they're probably not thinking about that, you're just being illogical, is kind of, yeah. My family and I visited a Mayan temple. My brother and I climbed to the top, and there were these people that were like sitting on the very edge and dangling their legs like over the Mayan temple. And this thing's like pretty tall. I was like trying so hard. I was like, I want to go to the edge, but I couldn't bring myself to do it. I was like, oh my, like I would look over and I would be like, oh, it's too far down, I don't want to do that. But when you think about it, in your normal daily life, when you're standing or when you're sitting down, you don't just randomly fall flat on your face. If you trip while you're walking, that's another thing, but you never just randomly fall. That's logical. So why are you afraid? Because it's a fear. It's not rational. And I know that people are not judging me. I know that most people are probably just minding their own business. It's not just something that I can one day just decide to get over. It's the way I was trained to think. But that doesn't mean you can't get better. It is possible because I have seen it happen in myself. My social anxiety used to be a lot worse when I was younger. Middle and high school was probably the worst years. I used to walk away from every conversation and think in my head, why did you talk about that? Why did you mention that? They think your clothes are weird. They think your hair is weird. You just talked about something totally stupid and now they're never going to talk to you again. They probably hate you because you're totally boring. You don't talk about anything fun. I hated being with any group of people, school clubs or youth group or whatever. I would be one of those kids that like sat in the corner and didn't talk to anybody because I didn't wanna. It was just so uncomfortable for me. But now it's different. I don't overanalyze every single conversation. If I'm in a group where I know at least one person and everybody else I don't know, I'm fine with that. I can talk to the people, and I'm better at being at parties. I really enjoy talking to other people and learning about them, and I like meeting new friends. I think that counseling and therapists are definitely important. I've never actually had a real one, but there was, when I first came here, someone who gave me a few free counseling sessions, and just being able to talk to like someone, a professional who I knew if I said anything wasn't gonna judge me and was, you know, would understand me because they had maybe studied about this kind of thing before. That made me feel better. If you don't have money for like a therapist or a counselor, then talk to someone in your life who you really trust, like a family member or a really close friend or whoever. Sometimes we don't have those kinds of people in our lives, and there's nothing that we can do about that, but try to find someone. It's important to have at least one person to talk to about these kinds of things, because keeping it inside is definitely not good. There's also the option of medication. Some people have to take it. Thankfully, mine is only mild, and so I don't take medication for it, and I really don't want to, and I honestly can't afford medication. It's a really hard thing to improve, really hard, but I personally have made up my mind that I want to try to get better. So what have I been doing? It's really hard to say because I've never, like I said, I've never seen a therapist. I don't really know a lot about trying to help myself. But I've been trying to do something that scares me, even like a little bit, just every day. Whether that's going to class in itself or going into a coffee shop by myself. So there are days that I miss, and I don't beat myself up for that. I still can't do this, but being able to stand in front of a mirror and look at yourself, like really look into your own eyes and say like, I love you. I still can't do that, but I hope at some point I will be able to. I feel like going through exercises like this are helpful, but again, I'm not a professional. I don't know anything because I've never been trained, and I'm still fighting because every day I have to do more. It feels like it never gets better. It feels like I'm always doing harder and harder and harder and harder and harder things, you know? At first it was just talk to people, and then I was talk to groups of people, and then go to school, and then give presentations every once in a while, and then have a whole class about presentations, and then have an interview, and I feel like it hasn't gotten easier, but at the same time, when I look back at the things I used to be afraid of, some of them aren't so bad anymore, which is a good sign. And so I hope I keep improving. So for those who have social anxiety, I want you to know that you are not by yourself. You're not alone, and chances are there's a lot of people in your life too that have the same issues, and you just might not know it. I hope that you make up your mind to try to seek some kind of help, because therapy is important. You should exercise every day. You should keep your body healthy. Same thing with your mind. You should keep your mind healthy. So talk to a therapist, talk to a counselor if you can, talk to someone you trust who understands you. I hope that for people who didn't know about social anxiety or of its existence, I hope that this at least helped a little bit. It's just really nice when you can have someone that understands you. So I hope that people through this video can either, you know, help out someone else, or can feel like, oh, I'm not by myself. There's someone else who also has the same issues as me. So, ending this video on kind of a serious note, but I'm one of those people who, you know, acknowledge, yes, in the past there were these weird things and there were these bad things, but we're gonna keep moving forward. Like every day, that's what I tell myself. I tell myself, I'm gonna keep getting better. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please press that like button, and if you'd like to see more of my videos, please subscribe.